Hello, my beautiful friends. I am Laurel Bleadon-Maffei with Illuminating Souls, welcoming you to this episode of Sleepy Bedtime Blessings, a podcast designed to help you rest, relax, and fall asleep, all while deepening in your connection with your beautiful team of angels who love you so. If we're meeting for the first time, I am an angelic practitioner, a spiritual teacher, and an encourager of souls. And my offerings include one-on-one angel sessions, which take place over the phone. They're lovely. I also offer a longer form of support called soul mentoring. And then I offer a variety of classes designed to inspire your spirit. And the best way to stay in the know about everything I have going on is to sign up for my mailing list at my website, illuminatingsouls.com. There's actually two places you can sign up for my mailing list. The form at the top of the page signs you up for my general list, and you'll get the announcements about my classes and when I have openings for angel readings. And then further down on the page, you will be able to sign up for my daily inspiration email blast. And with that mailing list, you will get an inspiring email from me every weekday. So 2 different ways you can hear from me. And then I'm also active on Facebook at Illuminating Souls. So lots of ways we can connect. But for now, the angels and I are here to create a sweet sanctuary of light where you can replenish and deepen in your connection with divine love and goodness and calm energy. So this podcast is inspired by 2 of my favorite forms of self-care, connecting with the angels and listening to a sleep podcast. I think it's so interesting how our bedtime routines can change and evolve over time. For much of my adult life, I would fall asleep watching television. It really comforted me. I would love to get in bed by 9 o'clock and watch television until 10 and then go to sleep. But somewhere around 2015, I started listening to sleep podcasts instead. I made a shift. And over the years, my bedtime's gotten earlier and earlier, so that now I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. I'm a TV baby, and I think it's so interesting how on-demand television like Netflix and streaming and everything else has changed my personal schedule. It used to be I would stay awake to watch the 8 o'clock shows. And now I don't even know what's on television because I just stream it later. So somehow my body has shifted into this very early bedtime, but I'm also awake by 3 a.m. I'm not out of bed and productive at 3 a.m., just so we're clear. I lay in bed, I listen to an audiobook, I read. My husband's usually still asleep, but my bedtime routine has changed substantially over the last few years. And doing this podcast has really given me an opportunity to reflect on what I love so much about bedtime. To me, bedtime represents that I have completed another day here on this planet. Hopefully I've done something good with my life. I have been a source of goodness, or maybe I just have not, been a raging crabby person to other people. Sometimes the bar is pretty low. And I get to declare a day complete. And I find that listening to a sleep podcast as I drift off stops my mind from regurgitating the day that has happened, because I can absolutely be an overthinker. And there had been countless nights where I would just be going over whatever happened the day before and get lost in my thoughts, and it would be hard to calm my mind down so I could go to sleep. But over the past few years, that has been wonderfully addressed by listening to a sleep podcast, because my mind is amused. It's distracted. It's like I don't have to talk about what happened during the day because I'm listening to this lovely story. So it creates a bridge for me between my waking consciousness and that sweet mystery that is sleep. And so I created this podcast for you. And it really has been a creation of love and something that soothes my creative spirit. And I'm so glad that you're here. And so whatever your bedtime or nighttime ritual is, or whether you're listening during your waking hours, the angels and I are sending you love. As I record this, it is early hours in the morning. The sun is not up yet, so it's still dark out. My favorite time to record because the world is still a bit quiet. Every once in a while, I distract myself with other things and I don't get to recording these episodes early in the morning, and then I try to record them later in the morning or in the afternoon, and there are so many noises. So here I am, early morning, and I am grateful to be here with you. So I'm going to call the angels in to join us. They are already here, but I love sharing them with you. So I invite you to join me for a deep breath in and just release. Release whatever is to be released. You know what it is. And if you don't, release it anyways. Let the angels help you with this. And beautiful angels on high, I invite you to join us here. And I ask that you infuse this broadcast with blessings of love, healing, light, goodness, and calming, soothing energy. And I especially ask for prayers of love and grace for each of our beloveds listening to this message. Angels, I ask that you help to lift our burdens and fears and help us remember who we are as divine beings in human form. So dear ones, just let's take another breath in and out together. You know, as I started calling in the angels, a prompt came forward, and it's one that I use every once in a while in my work, and it's a powerful one. And it's this: what do you sense is up for healing for you? Healing is a really interesting concept. In the Western world, we often think of healing as the resolution of symptoms, right? If I'm sick, I'm going to get better. I'm healing my heart from whatever happened. We think about healing as bringing something to meaningful resolution, so we feel better. But over the years, I have really come to be in relationship to healing as an ever-evolving journey. That more often than not, something is up for healing for us. It could be little. It doesn't always have to be big and dramatic. There's something very sweet that is up for, well, maybe it's not sweet. It doesn't feel sweet all the time, but when I asked that question just now, I thought of an image I created in Midjourney. It's of a plus-sized, red-haired girl. It's an illustration of her. And it really spoke to my heart. And it has me contemplating what my life would have been like if images like that existed as I was growing up. Because I see myself in her, and when I see her, there is no judgment. I see beauty, I see sparkle, I see love. And I love myself. I am not in a deep place of wounding about my size any longer. But just seeing that image and then that prompt of what is up for healing for you, I think that's up for healing for me in a very sweet way. Just as an aside, it amazes me that a program like Midjourney exists. It is an AI program, and it creates unimaginable but yet imagined images, and I've received so much healing as a result of working with it. So that is up for healing for me in this moment, is bringing even more love and grace and goodness into how I see myself throughout the timeline of my life. I find this concept so powerful, not only as what is up for healing, but the timeline of our lives. You know, we are many aspects of self all at the same time. And we can send healing light to any moment in our lives. It's not bound by time nor space. So here's to whatever's up for healing for you, known and unknown. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. But we will ask the angels to send healing light to whatever is up for healing for you. May the grace of God find you where you are. May your burdens be lifted. May your fears transform into nothingness. May you connect with your spark, your beautiful lightness of spirit, the beauty of all that you are. May you know that you are a blessing in this world, that you are a unique emanation of divine consciousness and love, and you are a miracle. And take a breath in, and as I share this phrase of you are a miracle, I will share with you one of my favorite affirmations. It says, through me and as me, miracles are happening on this planet. Through me and as me, miracles are happening on this planet. And we also can shift it to through us and as us, miracles are happening on this planet. Through us and as us, miracles are happening on this planet. One of the things I love so much about this affirmation is nowhere does it talk about how. We don't have to worry about how. We don't have to figure it out. We just acknowledge that we are vessels. We are instruments of divine light. And who are we to determine what a miracle is? We don't know our ripple. We don't know our ripple. You might show someone a random act of kindness that you think is a throwaway, And maybe it was that exact thing that they needed in that moment. Maybe you reminded them of their mother, or maybe their childhood friend. Maybe just you being in the right place, holding a door open for someone, brings them a miracle they were hoping for that you'll never even know about. So through us and as us, miracles are happening on this planet. God, make it so. May it be so. And just breathe into that beautiful invitation from the angels. So in that spirit, I have a random story to share with you that comes forward. It was in my early days of doing this work. I was still living in Los Angeles. And I would get a lot of referrals from Doreen Virtue's website. She was very popular then as an angelic practitioner, and those of us who had trained with her, she promoted us. And so someone had booked a session with me, and I was rather nervous. I was used to working with people I knew, and to work with people I didn't know felt a little scary. And the woman called me up, and she said, "You're not going to believe what's just happened." And she had been going to Walmart that morning. I don't know if she worked there. I don't quite remember the details. I just remember she was walking into Walmart, and there was a piece of paper on the ground, and she picked it up. And on the piece of paper was written the name Laurel. How is that from where for weird? Like, right, a hello from heaven. And she was about to have an appointment with me. I mean, Laurel's a pretty unusual name. And I think that's a miracle, right? Like, how does that even happen? And listen, I don't have a great resolution to the story. Like, and then I changed her life. And I don't know. She had a reading with me. I don't remember any of the details. But there was something very magical in that piece of paper for her. Because here she was, many cities away from me. In the morning, right before her session with me, she looks down in a parking lot in Walmart and sees a piece of paper that says Laurel on it. So I say, let's stay open to magic. That magic is not up to us. We just become available for it. Through us and as us, miracles are happening on this planet. And just breathe that in. Isn't that the loveliest thought? So with that, I invite you to cozy on up and snuggle on in. And while you rest and replenish and drift off into the sweetest of dreams, we're going to move on into story time. And for story time, we're going to do a kind of episode I actually haven't done in a little while, which is flipping through the pages of an old magazine. Now, I know I have flipped through the pages of a TV guide, of a community cookbook. I've done those recently, but in this episode, we're going to flip through the pages of Harper's Bazar from 1903. And when I say flip through the pages, I have downloaded it from Google Books, and it is on my iPad, so no actual paper flipping will be involved here. It's going to be digital. And there's lots of interesting articles. Harper's Bazar in 1903 is a women's magazine, but it is not so heavily focused on fashion as it is today. There is fashion in it, and housekeeping, and things about society and how to throw a tea party, because, high teas were, I don't know, very in vogue back then. Can I say in vogue about Harper's Bazar? I don't know. The part that I find fascinating, though, are the ads. So I'm going to just go right through the ads with you because I just think they're interesting. So remember, if we're living in 1903 and if we're women in 1903, because who knows where we were on our incarnation timeline, but let's just say we are women in 1903, we take care of a home, right? Our role in society is pretty well defined. There is not fast food, there are not microwaves. Packaged goods and canned goods are a recent development, like that was the late 1800s. Also, quackery medicine is a thing. You could say anything about anything and you could publish it. So somewhere in here, I don't know if I'll be able to find it again, was a soap that helped you lose weight. I promise you it didn't work. But we're going to start off with a full page ad for shredded whole wheat from the Natural Foods Company in Niagara Falls, New York. So what they're selling us on is that it can be prepared in over 250 different ways, and it is thoroughly cooked and ready for instant use. So that was the marketing of the day, right? It's safe to use, it's already prepared, and we're going to help you get your meals on the table. So it says, to women who think dishes prepared with shredded wheat are not only attractive to the eye and pleasing to the palate, but appeal to the reason. Shredded whole wheat biscuit is made in the most hygienic and scientific food conservatory in the world. This conservatory is finished in white enamel, marble, and mosaic, is sun-flooded through 30,000 lights of glass, and coursed by filtered and uniformly tempered air. It is a place where contamination cannot occur, and that sentence is in bold. No other cereal food has as great a surface for the action of the digestive fluids as shredded whole wheat biscuit. This is true because the wheat is not crushed into dense masses, but spun out in a porous shred. These shreds are crisp and compel through mastication, which strengthens the teeth and ensures complete digestion. Shredded whole wheat biscuit perfectly nourishes the whole body and purifies the digestive tract. Try it today. And this reminds me so much of the health conversations that were being had by Kellogg's. The history of Kellogg's is fascinating. It was very much health-based, digestion, whole grains. So, but this is not about Kellogg's. I just thought that this was an interesting ad. The next ad is for Pabst extract. So in the modern age, we are used to knowing about Pabst beer, right? And it looks like this was from the Pabst Brewery in Milwaukee, but it's not being marketed as alcohol. It says, don't let the heat of summer undermine your strength, enervate your system, and lay it open to the inroads of disease. So again, we're looking at health here. Keep your blood cool and full of life by taking a small glass of Pabst malt extract before each meal. It is the best tonic both in name and reality, for all men and for all women at all times everywhere. Pabst malt extract is a builder of health, strength, vigor, and vitality. For invalids and convalescents, and for those enfeebled by age, it is both meat and drink, a tonic that enriches the blood, quiets the heart action, steadies the nerves, and renews the wasted tissues of the body. Like that, wow, it's like a miracle drug. And this is, someone wrote in, for maybe they did and maybe they didn't, right? They could be lying. For 50 years, I have been more or less an invalid. The doctors say my blood had not sufficient red corpuscles to give me strength. For the past 15 years, I have used Pabst malt extract, the best tonic, and it has always given me renewed strength and vigor. So interesting that they would write in with the exact same language as the ad. The fact that I am now 72 years old and am enjoying better health than when I first began to take your malt extract makes me commend it heartily to my friends and to those whom I have cared for in my work as a practical nurse. I know of no better tonic for those suffering from general debility or for convalescence. J.M. Short in Chicago. And then they say, avoid cheap imitations. Jacking the strength and purity of Pabst extract, they are frequently adulterated and usually harmful. Your system demands the best, and Pabst malt extract is the best tonic. So, I have no idea what was in there. Neither did anybody else except those people who worked at Pabst. A wonder drug, I'm sure. Okay, there is an ad for washing, Perline, for washing. That I'm not going to read because the font is too small and too hard to read. So we're going to skip that one. Oh, here's an ad from Nabisco Sugar Wafers, the National Biscuit Company. Did you know that Nabisco stands for the National Biscuit Company? I just thought that's interesting. A little trivia there. Perhaps it will win you a trivia game somewhere. It starts off with the headline, "A bird in a cage is worth two in a tree. To hold a man's affection in sweet captivity. Serve him Nabisco Sugar Wafers." Nabisco Sugar Wafers, a fairy sandwich. That's a great word. A fairy sandwich of rare and delicate lightness, enclosing a creamy filling of the flavor you most prefer. Cherry, orange, lemon, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, raspberry, or mint. A crisp and crumbling dessert wafer, blending delicately with ices, sherbets, pudding, fruit, or berries. I used to love those as a kid, and I remember the pink ones, which I guess would be strawberry or something like that. This is a sad ad, this one. They are selling parrots from Cuba. I mean, to mail order a parrot from Cuba. Parrots are such an investment of time and love that imagine someone just saying, yeah, cool, let's mail order a parrot. And then what happens to this poor bird? Okay, we're going to move on. Let's see what else I can find. You can get a beautiful 1,000-page book of designs of artistic homes for $1. There's 10 houses that will cost $1,000, 10 houses for $1,200, 10 houses for $1,800, 10 churches. So you can buy designs by mail. It's awesome. Okay, and this one is for a dresser trunk, like a steamer trunk that you might take when you take a long train ride or go on a voyage across the Atlantic. Don't leave comfort, convenience, and order at home when you travel. Take them along by packing your clothes in a Stallman dresser trunk, built like a dresser. Everything you want, when and where you want it. Keeps garments in perfect condition, simplifies packing and unpacking, eliminates repacking. Strongest, roomiest, most convenient trunk made, and costs no more than the ordinary style. Sent COD with privileged examination. Then there's an ad for the asbestos pad for dining tables before we knew that asbestos was bad for you. The only absolute protection to the most highly polished surface against injury from moisture and hot dishes. So it would be a pad for the dining room table, and then it could fold away. Recommended to friends by every woman who tries it. Then there's an ad for yarn, worsted yarn by Fleischers. The yarns that stand the severest tests of wear and wash are Fleischers. Knitted worsted, Shetland floss, Saxony, Spanish, Germantown, Zephyr, etc. Then there is another ad for parrots. I guess parrots were very popular, with a headline that says, "Hello, Polly." Parrots are the most jolly, sociable, and interesting of all home pets. We import great numbers of choice. Oh, this is so sad. I'm not going to read it to you. Okay, sorry. I'm getting triggered by that. We're going to just not talk about that anymore. Let's move on to things that make ice cream, because this I can get happy about. The Peerless Iceland Freezer. Ice cream, or ices, are enjoyed every day in the year. Cooked desserts are quickly tired of. Easy to prepare the most tempting frozen desserts with the Peerless Iceland Freezer. Delicious ice cream in 3 minutes. Perfection of Peerless construction explains it. Scrapers on patented stationary dasher cut ice cream from sides of revolving can. Beat it fine-grained and firm without taxing your strength. Okay, well that sounds good. And then there's something called the Arctic Ice Blanket. A blanket specially woven for refrigerator ice. Because remember, back then, people had ice boxes, and there would be the icemen who would actually just come and deliver ice into the ice box. And I seem to recall there were usually doors on the outside of the house adjacent to the ice box, so the iceman, I don't know that there were women, I don't mean to sound so gender specific, but they were called the icemen. And the iceman would come and put a huge block of ice through the door into the ice box. So this is a blanket specially woven for refrigerator ice, a non-conductor of heat, and does what other blankets will not do, protects the ice from the warm air that circulates above. It's sanitary, economical, washable, durable, carries no odors or germs. And it'll save half of your money on ice bills. Then there is an ad for the Underwood's Deviled Ham. I remember this can. Do they even still make this? We never, of course, had it because we were Jewish. We didn't go for pork products, but perhaps for some of you, you will have the memory of Underwood Deviled Ham. Now here's one for Horlicks malted milk. How many of you in the United States have heard of Horlicks? So let me share with you how I know about Horlicks, because I watch Call the Midwife. And the nurses in Call the Midwife would have Horlicks after a hard day. So that's the only reason I know about it. If you grew up in the UK, you probably know what it is. So it's a delicious, satisfying food drink in powdered form, instantly prepared with hot or cold water. Also in tablet form, either natural or chocolate flavor, ready to be eaten as a quick lunch. A compact, strength-giving emergency ration for the sportsman, athlete, and traveler, made of pure, rich milk from our own dairies and the extract of selected grain malted by our special process, used and sold everywhere. All druggists, Horlicks Food Company in Racine, Wisconsin. So maybe Horlicks was a big thing here as well. It's a big ad. I just remember hearing about it from Call the Midwife, so I thought it was a UK-based product, but maybe it's from here as well. I'm not curious enough to go look it up, though. So, here's the Horlicks that I know about from Call the Midwife. Okay, and now there is an ad for the Lion Yarn book. And now this is all coming back to me, how I found this issue of Harpers on Google Books. So, Lion brand yarn, they are big in the yarn industry. And around Black Friday, they were having sales. And one of the things that was on sale, they have done a reprint of, I think, the 1907 version of the Lion Yarn book, which had a lot of different patterns for knitted, crocheted things. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I wonder if I can find it on Google Books, because then maybe I would read it to you. And I didn't find the book itself, but this is an ad for the book. And this is what the gateway was for me to find this issue of Harper's to share with you. So they're having a $1,000 prize contest. That's a lot of money. It says actually a $1,000 prize contest book for 15 cents. And it contains newest and most practical ideas from the best specimens among 5,000 articles submitted in recent $1,000 Lion brand yarn contest. Oh, so they must have been running a contest. It's like, the Pillsbury Bake Off of yarn, I guess. It gives the best and latest stitches and patterns. Every detail is fully explained. It is the only absolutely reliable tested book issued. And I think it's totally cool that Lion Yarn is still going strong all these years later. Well, here you go. Learn how to make Indian basketry taught by mail. So on your vacation. There's just a little bit of cultural appropriation there. That's kind of... It's from the Apache School of Indian Basket Weaving. And what do you want to bet that no Indigenous people, no Native Americans or First Nations were involved in this? Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't go off on that tangent. I'm being spontaneous with you about what I'm seeing. Oh, beauty hints. We can get a book, an up-to-date book for free. Special samples of the most expensive, exquisite, and perfect toilet preparations in the world. I love free stuff. Here's an ad for eggs. Strictly fresh eggs from the farm to your table. And they're tested. I will not give you the litany of things they are being tested for, because it'll gross you out. And the eggs are shipped the day they're laid. 12 dozen in a crate will be fresh for 3 weeks after delivery. We've got Ray's Luca olive oil. We've got free for 90 days to the readers of Harper's Bazar, a beautiful imported 56 China tea set. Well, they are going to make you pay for it then after the 56 days. I don't think it tells you how much you're going to have to pay. Okay, well, we're not ordering from them. Another ice cream freezer from Triple Motion White Mountain. 2 things are necessary to making good ice cream quickly. The first is a White Mountain freezer. Second is to know how. This is brilliant copywriting. How do you make ice cream? Well, first you get the freezer, and then you learn how. That's so cool. Okay, your dealer will sell you the freezer, and we will send you the free book that tells how. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. We're getting into some of the quackery medicine that I find so interesting. This is the Osage rub. Sun headache? Sun headache is very prevalent during the summer months at the seashore, in the mountains, and in cities most of all. Nothing is more distressing and also nothing more needless. One application of the original Osage rub will relieve all headache absolutely and leave the head with a cool, refreshed feeling. Headaches of every kind indicates a condition that is opposed to the life of the hair. Wait, now are we talking about hair? Headache of every kind indicates a condition that is opposed to the life of the hair. Osage rub at once relieves the trouble and makes the hair as soft and glossy as a kitten's fur. Wow, I wonder what was in it. Let's see. It is a most refreshing lotion for head and face, a perfect tonic and dandruff remover, instant relief for headache for any cause. I'm sure there was some sort of menthol something in it, huh? Well, here's one that says kidney disease, Bright's disease, and diabetes are cured. Well, that's good news. We could sure use that information today. It's a remedy. So it's from Irvine K. Mott, MD of Cincinnati. So in 3 months' time, they were all pronounced cured in a study at one of the most prominent universities. I'm not going to go into it. Anyways, we know, of course, that doesn't work, yeah? Because we would be using that today, and we would be talking about these things in the past. Arnica tooth soap, the international dentifrice, standard of the world for 30 years. It cleanses, preserves, beautifies, and whitens the teeth, strengthens the gums, sweetens the breath. In a neat, handy metal box. Ideal for the dressing table and traveling. No powder to scatter. No liquid to spill or stain garments. Arnica tooth soap. Then there's a dream cream for the complexion. It creates a beautiful complexion, and it is not a cosmetic. It is a natural, harmless, positive cure for sunburn, eczema, freckles, moth spots, I guess that must be age spots, and all skin irritations. Oh, that's good to know, huh? Let's see if I can find the one that will make us lose weight, because, I want some of that. There's something called Pompeian, which looks like it is a skin, something for the skin, a toilet cream for sunburn, for windburn. Unlike any toilet cream, contains neither grease nor glycerin and nothing harmful. It softens skin, cleanses pores, and removes blackheads. That's good to know. And then it looks like there is a steam cooker it says cool summer cooking, delicious meal, full courses cooked at the same time over one burner. The Ohio Steam Cooker. It cooks better meals with less fuel and in less time than they could be boiled or baked. So that's good news, yes? I'm a housewife. It needs to be easy. That's my mantra. Easy is good. Okay, I found the one that I was looking for. La Parle Obesity Soap. All I needed all this time was a soap. That was it. Fat is folly when it can be reduced easily, conveniently, and best of all, safely by the use of La Parle Obesity Soap. This obesity soap, used like an ordinary soap, positively reduces fat without dieting or gymnastics. Absolutely harmless, and never fails to reduce flesh when directions are followed. Send for a book of testimonials, box of 2 cakes, sent prepaid on receipt of $2 from Norwood Chemical Company. Well, there you go. Good news. All we have to do is time travel back to 1903, get some of this soap, problem solved. Now we're into face powders, powders for antiperspirant, toilet powders for children, charcoal tablets for stomach discomfort. Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup is an old and well-tried remedy, and for over 50 years has been used by millions of mothers for their children while cutting teeth, because it soothes the gums. What do we think was in that? Let's see what else I can find for us. Oh, here's a quackery. Here we go. Sight restored at home. Good news. Sight restored. Mrs. Harriet Castle Van Wert, was going blind from granular sore eyes and ulceration of the cornea, but was cured at her home without knife, pain, or risk by the Madison absorption method. It cures cataracts, spots, scums, granular lids, optic nerve diseases, and all causes of blindness. No pain, surgical operation, or risk. It has restored sight to thousands after other methods failed. I think we package that with the obesity soap because that sounds fantastic. Okay, you know that I'm being facetious, yeah? Let's see what else we can find. Another sight restored, so they're big about that. Quickly and at little expense in patient's own home. Okay, we're going to skip over these. That's starting to disturb my peace. Okay, I have no... Okay, goat must be the name of a doctor. Goat lymph treatment. So I had to look at what that was, right? I don't think it involves actual goats, though. If you are affected with neurasthenia, nervous prostration, chronic articular rheumatism, locomotor ataxia, paralysis, I'm not going to pronounce these words. I do understand epilepsy or any of the troubles incident to real or premature old age. You will find a cure in the goat lymph treatment. Ample proof of this assertion is given in our new magazine, a copy of which will be mailed on request. It contains a complete explanation of the treatment and tells how it may be obtained and the method of administration. There you go. And they have offices in Chicago and New York. There's a new bread that they are marketing. A new bread, Cook's Flaked Rice. Cook's flaked rice mixed with bread dough in the right proportions makes a most delicious bread. Cook's Flaked Rice is sold by your grocer. In each package is a little cookbook which tells how to make delicious new dishes. And sending us your bread receipt, or recipe as we would say today, write your name and address. They are going to be paying a $10 gold prize for the best flaked rice bread recipe. And back in 1903, if you are looking to build your library, you can order Mark Twain's works. And the books run $1.75. But the personal recollections of Joan of Arc are $2.50. The personal... What is that? I wonder. The personal recollections of Joan of Arc. I'll have to go look that one up. Okay, well, I had to go consult with my friend Wikipedia. And the personal recollections of Joan of Arc was written by Mark Twain. The novel is presented as a translation by Jean-François Alden, a fictionalized version of Joan of Arc's page Louis de Conte. Okay, I'm going to skip over the French names because I'm going to just, treat them terribly. The novel was first published as a serialization in Harper's magazine, which we are reading right here, beginning in April 1895. Twain was aware of his reputation as a comic writer, and he asked that each installment appear anonymously so that readers would treat it seriously. Regardless, his authorship soon became known, and Harpers and Brothers published the book edition with his name in May of 1896. Many events in the novel are fictionalized. However, the main events in the life of Joan are rendered faithfully. We learned something new. You think I'm here to put you to sleep, and I give you interesting information. Win-win. Okay, and here's an ad that would never fly today. Local workers wanted. We would be glad to receive the names and addresses of girls, women, and young men in every city, town, and village in this country who desire to undertake a light, pleasurable, and profitable employment during the summer months. For full particulars, write to Harper and Brothers, Publishers, Franklin Square, New York. I'm sure this ad is completely innocent. It's probably addressing envelopes or something like that, but that would never fly today. There's an ad for something called Corn Crisp, Best Malted Food. Then there is an ad for Richard Harding Davis, Stories of Travel and Adventures in Many Lands. 8 volumes of absorbing interest. There's things about our English cousins, rulers of the Mediterranean, Paris. 8 volumes, beautifully illustrated. So it's it says for $1. So let's see. Our offer: we will send you the entire set of 8 volumes. Charges prepaid on receipt of $1. If you do not like the books when they reach you, send them back at our expense and we will return the $1. If you do like them, here's the fine print. If you do like them, send us $1 every month for 11 months. So it's sort of, like the Columbia Record Club. So it's $11. They're just putting you on a payment plan. And then, because women were sewing so many of their own clothes, you can also buy cut tissue paper patterns for a shirtwaist suit, a sun-pleated costume, a pleated bolero jacket, a Parisian dressing jacket. Well, yeah, who doesn't want a Parisian dressing jacket for sure? A fancy blouse with cut skirt. Well, there you go. That's a good idea. So here's an ad for a book, and one of them is called Perverted Proverbs, a book of amusing parodies of time-honored proverbs done into comic verse. Colonel Streamer, who's the author, has imagination, originality, and wit. For his perversions of the well-known familiar sayings are not easily forgotten. Still daughters run cheap. Uneasy lies the tooth that wears a crown, are among the laughable reversals of respectable old proverbs. Well, all right, that's humor back in 1903, I guess. So those were just some of the ads in the Harpers Bazar from 1903. I hope you enjoyed our trip into the Wayback Machine. So thank you again for the lion yarn rabbit hole that I went down that found my way to these pages. Gotta love some obesity soap. If only it would be that easy. You know what that reminded me of, the obesity soap? How many of you watch Doctor Who, and especially the newer Doctor Who's? There was the most adorable episode with David Tennant as Doctor Who, and so it was in the character of Donna Noble with the Adipose company. So basically, Adipose were these little pills people would take to lose weight, not knowing that what they were is they were going to become hosts for these baby aliens that looked like little fat molecules. I know it sounds weird. It's such a funny episode. I love Doctor Who. If you want to know something else random about me, I never watched Doctor Who. I didn't like it. I sort of grew up in the age of the Doctor Who with the long scarf, and I would have never watched Doctor Who, but one Christmas Wes's kids came over and they said that we had to watch the one about the weeping angels. And this was when Matt Smith was the Doctor, and it was also right around the time of the 50th anniversary episode with Matt Smith and David Tennant. And something about those two episodes together got me hooked on the newer Doctor Who's. And so Wes and I binged all of them, and then we started watching them in live time with the season. And we just watched the 60th anniversary episode, which has David Tennant returning as the Doctor again with Donna Noble, and also introducing us to the newest Doctor. And it was such a great trilogy of episodes. So if you're looking for something new to watch, Doctor Who, love them. And how did I even get on my Doctor Who team? Oh, the obesity soap reminded me of the Doctor Who adipose episode. Aren't our minds weird places, like how things get connected? These random dots of consciousness line up somehow. So that's all I got for you today, tonight, whenever you're listening. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you the sweetest of dreams. Thank you for letting me keep you company. What an honor it is to be with you. So thank you so much. I love you, and we will talk again soon. Thank you.